Hello and welcome to Paint the Edges with your host James Mac and James Thayer. This is going to be the the fastest intro you'll ever hear from me. I'm ripping. What's it? I would say My Fitness Pal. Riverside Studio. If you ever listen, look, we'll never get sponsored by them ever. I think like there are people. Do you remember when podcasts were coming up? Well, I think they still are. Where like you could do like sponsored platforms, or some platforms would sponsor you. I think Riverside did some. Riverside. I'm looking directly at the camera just so that I hold on directly at the camera. So I'm not looking at there over there. I'm looking at you. Stupidest update you've ever done. Stupidest. One. Actually, I lie. Hold on, wait. I'll give you some credit because when you initially came into the studio, I was like, actually, that's a little bit of a nicer layout. Nicer, not user friendly though. Like big difference. Looks cleaner. Looks a little bit more bubbly. Stupid. Number one. Two. Your new start button, it says go live. So you can't start the recording. You have to push the stupid up arrow to then go start the I don't want to push the another give me the fucking start button again. Assholes. Stupid. Tell me, am I being unreasonable?
You're not being unreasonable. It's a dislike of. The other thing is, though, I feel like just technology in general, you'll see these advancements try to change or try to make changes, and then like 2 weeks it goes away, and it's like, oh, people hated it.
Yeah. It's like we were beta test. No, you weren't beta testing it. You got people like me, and like I don't have the energy to do this. If I had the energy and the time, I would send you an email, or maybe like a voice note on Instagram, and be like, "Don't, stupid." The stupidest thing you could have done. Like even like, why does everything have an up arrow on it now? Can you see
So
everything?
many options.
But for what?
There's so many options now.
No, I fucking hate this.
I don't know what all they do. I'm afraid to touch any of them that it's going to ruin our current recording.
We just got it like right as well. Like we just worked out. We actually got really good at not fucking up. I think. I mean, James Marshall might completely disagree with that, but I truly think that we've done okay. Look, there's a layout button now. What is the layout button? How do I change that? Oh, that is in.
There you go. See, the real question now is
Is that what they're going to see on the video?
I have no idea. When you listen to this, go watch it. Let us know if you're seeing what we're seeing.
Nothing on stage yet.
Because it's probably like easier for presentations. Hey, now we're big.
No. How did we? But are we bigger now? Yeah, we are bigger now.
At least on my screen.
Yeah, but now you're on a different side as well. No, you're on the right of my screen, and I was on the right, and you were on the left, and now you're on the right, and I'm on the left. I don't like this. Immediately, no.
Welcome to our technology struggles.
You know what the hilarious thing is? I own a tech company. That's hilarious. This is the best part about this is I own the tech company, and then we have this nonsense that kind of goes on. It's just a nightmare. Anyways, I'm fueled up, rattled up, as individuals can probably tell. 2 reasons. One, I'm mindful of the wording that I'm going to use with the next couple statements, so I do apologize, but also at the same time, I don't. It's like I'm sitting back for this one. I don't know where he's going with this, so they are strapping into one, either just like accidentally turn off his camera and not be part of this, or enjoy the ride. So first things first, I got a haircut again 2 days ago. Okay, for those who do not follow me on Instagram, one, thank you. Like, thank you for not following me because anyways, it's fine. If you want to follow me, fantastic. If not, no offense taken in any shape or form. I really don't care. But I got a haircut. It is the first time in my entire life that I have had a head massage from an Egyptian male. And like, I think I need to preface it with Egyptian male, not for like, not to single out anyone, but I have a feeling that if individuals have ever been to like a proper barber before, and they're usually Egyptian, or they're usually like, Middle Eastern or something along those lines. Like that's the quality of the bar. Like it's going to be a good barber shop if you walk in and like the guy was like smoking darts outside and like he like that. You just know. You just have this in this feat. You still go to what was the fucking barber place that you went to? We've had part of this discussion before because as the individuals would know, I have had some unfortunate luck with going to barbers in the last 6 months, right? And I figured because I was back in the motherland of looking after beards and that I would be able to kind of grow my beard again, and honestly just be proud of the facial hair structure that I created, that I was able to make. Anyways, so this Egyptian dude, I lay out to him. I'm like, yo, dude, I should have known. I should have known immediately from the very beginning that this was going to be a bad day. So like I sat down and like he hooked me immediately in like a good way. Brother brought out like the cape, and the way he like put the cape on me, I was like, oh, this dude knows what he's doing. All right, like he like, and the way it like whipped and like I don't even know how to explain it properly, but he whipped it around and whipped it, but as he did it, it automatically like perfectly into line on my neck. It was insane. Like I was like, this dude's a magician. Right, that's how good he was with like. He was flamboyant, like, and not in like a that type of flamboyancy. He was just, he knew what he was doing. All right. So brother puts this thing on, and I'm already like, whoa, okay, shit, this is gonna like I'm excited. I was excited for what was to come in the beard taming scenario. I was excited. I really was. Puts the like special white piece thing on as well. Does the thing. He's like, all right, boss, what do you want? So I'm like 0 with the clippers on top. And then, brother, I just need to like sort out my beard. I'm trying to grow to grain. Someone fucked it up. Like, I need this. I got you. Those were his words. Right. And I was like, man, the 0, no foiler. Don't use a foiler because like it messes up my skin. He's like, I got you. Now, there was definitely an English barrier there. Because the I got you.
He in fact did not.
In fact did not got me. But all right. So like again, so much confidence. Dude came in so confident as well. So immediately, boom, 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 puts all the shit up, tells us, grabs the clippers, like he like pulled it out of the cabinet. Dude, he was majestic. Everything he was doing was majestic. I was like, this is insane. So he like starts the clippers and he starts by like edging a line of my scalp, right? So like cuts this line, but like perfect straight line from the front all the way around, like all the way around the back. So I'm immediately like, so I've had this done. So in the past, where barbers have done like what's called a skin fade. So like goes to 0 to a certain line, and then they'll do like a 0.5, a 1, 2, and then like the hair on the top, whatever. So it kind of like it's got a fade. It's got a gradient, right? That's how I've done it. So I'm watching this dude do this, and I'm like, that's weird. Like I've never seen someone like. Usually you just
look at your head.
You just kind of
Like
usually you just go for it, right? So he does this, but like I'll be 100% honest. He does this entire thing around, and he went in perfect lines up until this line, like, and it was like to the skin. Perfect. I was like, fucking dude's a magician. This is going to be the best haircut I've had. I'm immediately relaxed. In terms of this and like calming down. Oh no, fuck. Hold on, wait. Hold on. I apologize. I missed the part that this was like my first warning sign. So he did the cape thing. He put the thing on. He asked me, and then he grabbed my hair and he like untangled it. It is the only way.
Is this like your beard or your head?
He did it on both, but my head to start. So he like.
So anybody that's listening, he essentially he massaged Max.
He didn't. Head. No, he didn't massage it. He kind of like
he needed.
Yeah, so he needed the hair. Again, I don't know why. Like in my head, I'm like, maybe he was trying to unclump it.
Just bring it all out.
Yeah, but again, I'm getting a 0, so I don't quite know why this is. Anyways, so then he does this. So again, I get more faith. Dude, brother, fucking smashes it. I get baby powder put on my head suddenly. So, dude, I get this like he puts baby powder in both hands. So I just smacked in this
they're not worried about the baby powder cancer.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know about that. Anyways, Johnson & Johnson definitely just smacked over the head with this fucking baby powder. So then strike number 2 kind of like massages it into the head, so or the scalp, kind of off the clippers. So I'm like, okay, fine, not sure, but I'm also can't really see because I've got fucking baby powder everywhere, dude. There's just this like I feel like I'm in a snowstorm with everything kind of going on, right? So now, and then I hear this, so I'm like, all right, cool, not sure. And I suddenly start feeling it, and it's the fucking foiler. And so, dude, I mean, it's grown in 2 days already. My head felt like a baby's bottom, like a. That is how silky smooth it was, because he did the entire haircut with the clippers, and then foiled the entire head. Right, for you've had the foiler thing done on you, yes? You know what I'm talking about?
Straight razor.
No, it's a foiler. So it kind of looks like 2 gear case like cogs like this. Yeah,
I have not. No.
Okay, it just makes your skin like baby smooth, but it also fucks you up if you get like ingrowns, because that's a mess. And so he does my whole head. So I get this whole head done in a foiler. So I'm immediately like, brother, I told you not to use the foiler. So immediately I'm like, my whole head's just gonna be full of fucking ingrowns. Like, this is gonna suck. Anyways, so I'm kind of like, fine.
You're blind, you're disoriented, you're confused.
There's just lots going on.
Beard work begins.
And then he just tunes the like, poop, and I'm suddenly like halfway back, like whiplashed onto the side of it. And I'm like, all right, so now he starts working on the beard. But he does so this is, again, he instilled confidence, right? This dude just gets shit sandwiched me, like really good shit. And not, the end was not really good, but anyways, shit that just kind of he double fucking he one bun shit sandwiched me that way. Started good and just crammed the shit in. So then he like flips me on my back again, super weird. But anyways, does this, and then he gets the hair dryer and he gets the brush, and he starts doing the heating the beard thing. And when they brush it, they almost like burn the shit out of your skin. Have you ever had that done? I know you don't have a beard now. Okay, cool. Anyways, so that's how they make the beard like really long. They're supposed to do this. That's how you know it's a good barber. So he does this thing and he pulls it out, because then once it's in its biggest form, then they can actually see how straight it is and he can cut it. Anyways, so at this point, dude, the beard chair's going away. I've got my eyes closed. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. He's doing his thing. He pulls me up, and it doesn't look terrible, but I can tell I'm not happy. I know I'm not happy, and it's because you can't really tell it right now. He squared it so square. This is me trying to fix all that. He made it so triangular, but what he also did is he took so much away from the underneath. So it kind of looks like I have this fucking unicorn. I could
a strong masculine chin under there.
Could I goatee this? Maybe. I don't know. All right. And there's some, I don't know what I had before, and this is part of the problem. And then maybe this will lead into what we're trying to talk about, kind of. I can't remember what I had before when I really liked my beard, but I remember it wasn't far out here. It was thicker down here. Right. And I can't articulate that to anyone of that's what I want. I want to keep growing it down here. I don't know how to do that. And for some reason, it just keeps growing like a fucking unicorn bearded thing. Anyways, so that's what I was trying to do. Then, so I'm kind of okay. It doesn't look terrible. Also, it doesn't look terrible because it's just been done. Where after you shower, you always know that the case, because that's when it shrivels back up and you know how much it's been fucked up. And that happened immediately after. Anyways, so this dude flips me up. And I get the hot towel. So he puts the hot towel. And they don't use a hot towel. They use an alcohol, almost like a baby wipe, because it's so fucking hot here. This baby wipe goes on my head, and then it starts happening. And this dude starts massaging my scalp. And I immediately was uncomfortable in so many ways, because that has never happened to me ever. I didn't like it. He was he was going aggressive with it in terms of it was just not that. Then, oh fuck! Then out of nowhere, dude, I get this fucking ting shit up my fucking nose. I've got wax up my nose. Yo, brother just put shit into my nose. I was like, what is going on here? He then, so I get fucking things up my nostrils. He puts wax, so doesn't use the blade to trim this up, puts wax down the line here. All right, so like now I'm stuck. I've got two fucking things up my nose. I can't fucking say anything. I've got wax on here. I'm having my head fucking, I don't know. He's magic genieing me at this stage to try and get an extra tip or something. I don't know. This is all happening. Have you ever seen? He then pulls out the fucking cotton roll thing. Yo, have you ever seen this shit?
I have no
Pulls
idea
out this fucking cotton
thing,
holds it in his fucking teeth, and starts doing this fucking like string shit. So it's called threading. Dude starts threading my ear.
Oh, your ear,
brother.
Didn't go for the eyebrows.
No, no,
because I know it. Okay,
that came
because I know that for females that'll go get that done on their eyebrows. I didn't know this is being done in barbershops.
Dude, threaded my ears. Like, one, I also didn't know that I had that much ear hair on the outside that needed to be threaded. Now so again, I know I've got this impending pain in my nose. I don't know what's going on. My ear's being fucking attacked by a piece of thread of this Egyptian man doing this flamboyant fucking shit going on. And now I sit there and I get this gunk. I don't have time to tear up because I don't know what's going on. Dude, this all happened in like a 30-second span, and I'm just sitting here going like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, that was my experience 2 days ago.
That was your assault. Mac just got assaulted in a barbershop.
And again, so for those who watched my Instagram story, I immediately Instagram storied afterwards because I was in so much shock of what was going on.
It's hilarious because I would assume from knowing very little of the works of a barber, but like with the hot towel, it's meant to open up the pores so you don't get ingrown hairs. And so the massage, I'm sure it's taught to complement that or go with it to try to like help open the pores so ingrown hairs aren't happening. It's hilarious though that you got like, did you go in and were just like, give me the full service? Because that's what you got. And if that's if that's the standard,
I think that's the standard.
The low standard. I don't want to know what the executive level service is.
Do you know what the executive level is? The executive level is there's two. Sorry, this sounds racist. There's two Vietnamese ladies who come through as well, and they give you a pedicure and fucking manicure at the same time. I know because I saw the dude next to me getting that, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
Full VIP service,
full VIP, nails done, and I'm just like, "This is insane!" Like, I want to spend as little time in this place as possible. I want to get the fuck out. I think it's as much as I enjoy me going to the barber, and I try to go once a week so that I don't look too homeless. I'm not going again for like 3 months until my beard comes back. Like I'll shelf shave. I will self shave the head for the next 3 months at least until this thing is down, until I cannot see my tattoo anymore. That was where it was before. I could not see my Thrive in Chaos tattoo. That's the goal. People keep me accountable to that. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I go once a week in terms of that. Well, I used to. It would be my 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, hopefully, of me not being able to touch my phone, not caring about what's going on. Look, if a car came through the window and killed everyone, I'd be okay with it. Like, if I was unalived, it'd be magical. It would be magical for me. But this guy ruined it.
Now that's been disrupted. So anybody listening that is in Dubai or has been to Dubai, how does Mac ask for not a majority of these services?
So, well,
I feel like almost you're going to have to go in with a rubber band and just put it in your neck beard portion and just be like, don't touch this.
I'm going to go back. So I've actually worked out what I'm going to do. So when I got here in Dubai in December last year, beginning of the year, I stayed in a specific place and I went to this one barber and he was a fucking legend. I'm
He also
going to.
ruined you for all other barbers.
Yeah, he did. Yes, which is a concern. Um, I'm going to Uber to that barber in 3 weeks' time before I have to leave, and that's where I'm going. I'll go get a haircut there. I'm specifically going to go to the same barber because I was like, this is insanity that this is what I'm dealing with. It's been like 4 barbers. I just have fucked my shit up. Anyways, sorry, that was a good 20 minutes of me just going wild.
I mean, my favorite thing about that, and again, it'll lead into the second portion of our conversation today, but that both of us went on rants this week. Very, very different rants from your barbershop assault to, my rant also went on social media, which I don't do too often with stories, and just about the AI generated infographics.
Yes, I agree. Like I agree. Do elaborate there? Elaborate because I don't want to. I've spoken enough. People don't need.
Yeah. So essentially, it was if you search social media, you will find this of the dependency of AI generated infographics to be able to curate or display information on your social media page. And the thing for me is, yes, it can be a helpful tool. And maybe, again, because I work in a university, it's more so one of those of like, hey, this is a tool. Let's not allow this to do all of our thinking and have no knowledge to be able to actually speak to the content that you're learning. But similar to social media, like, yeah, it can be a tool, but there's pages that their last 10 posts are just infographics or AI generated something on trying to display educational materials. They all look exactly the same. They're not unique. They like if you want to learn this stuff, just go buy a textbook. It's going to be more informative than what's being put out there. It's just AI slop. And to that, it's like it's that, I think there's going to be a way, as predominant as it is right now, I think there's going to just be a swift fall off in like people actually writing and saying words as a counterculture point to the prevalence of those AI generated posts. Every single strength and conditioning job opening looks like that. Every infographic that's put out by any coaching page, any physical therapist page, they all look the same, and they're not unique in any way. They add no context or complexity or a greater understanding. It's just that was my rant. Yeah, just everywhere I looked, I could not get away from just these infographics and AI generated postings where it's like there's no thought to this. It's, to me, it's equated the same thing as just, creating a general cookie cutter program and putting it out just like the 10 other people that have the exact same program that's trying to, train this specific type of person or this specific muscle. Like it's not thoughtful. It's not unique. It's doing no one good.
No, it's not. At the end of the day, it is a pure laziness. Now, I think there's a time and a place where it becomes effective. As you mentioned, it's a tool. And I think, in my opinion, when I look at these things, service-based industries, that is, or when I say service-based, or service-based in our realm from a coaching standpoint, strength and conditioning, anything like that, I don't think it's worthwhile. And I genuinely mean that. I think it actually devalues you as an individual. It is a very lazy way of creating a summary of information that at the end of the day does not show any form of knowledge, shows pure regurgitation. That's my opinion. Okay, and fight me on that if you want to, but I genuinely believe that that's where it falls short. I would much rather see or hear an individual, and again, I do also understand where this is coming from, and I will kind of fight the argument of what I'm making on the other side in a second. I would much rather see an individual sit in their car, as much as I hate these videos, sit in their car and talk to me about one of the principles or one of the things that they say on that infographic and do a 30 to 2-minute conversation on force velocity. I would look at that and respect the individual at a greater length, even if their interpretation was incorrect. I would respect that greater because there is some foresight, there's some thinking, there is verbiage coming from their own mouth into what this is. It is not Claude fucking co-work that has spat out using Claude Design, spat out the information off of some bullet points off of a research paper that you've inputted into it. Like it's pure laziness. It is pure laziness in my opinion. Now, on the flip side of this, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because unfortunately, because of the world and the day and age that we live in, infographics work. Coloring in books work. And do you know why coloring in books work? Because you're talking to people with the intellectual of a fucking 3-year-old. And this is the problem is we have, as a society, as an ability to interpret and take on information, we have dumbed ourselves down so much that we need the paint by numbers coloring in book and not the textbook. We need this is page 1 of here's the dinosaur and the dinosaur was fucking, yeah, that's what we need to apparently take on information. And that is so sad. That is so sad as an industry, as a society. And I know where it comes from. Look, I'm in the most convenient place in the world. If I wanted to, I could have my food delivered to me in 10 minutes. And they would knock on the door if there wasn't a problem and fight me a week later, as I'm currently dealing with. But they could knock on the door and leave it there at the door for me. It's convenience. And that's the problem is we have built up this convenient factor within the space. This we literally have 3 to 5 seconds to catch someone's attention. That infographic has to throw 3 to 5 seconds worth of information. But here's part of my argument with the back end. That's not a person I want to work with. I don't want to work with an individual like that because if that's how I'm having to explain this to them, there is no true knowledge that will ever be acquired by that individual. Ever. In terms of this. Now, to kind of argue, and that was kind of like my argument against it or for it as to why this would work, but it's kind of like one of these things of like, well, which one do we need to fix first? Do we need to conform and give out the coloring in book, or do we need to teach the children to fucking learn better? My opinion is teach the children. Harder job, much harder job, much less of a capacity in terms of a pool of individuals, more rewarding at the end of the day. That's my gripe in terms of this. So, off the back end of this is where I think, and like shameless plug, but not, this is where education platforms like Prescript, people who do it live, people who do our courses live in terms of weekly lectures, the labs, all these things. This is where we're going to separate ourselves from the top. People who are joining those courses, you will be at a high level because of that. Because you are going to see individuals, myself, Thayer, Shallow, fucking Brandon, Jorge, who else is there? Killian,
Jeff,
Eric, Jeff, Veronica. You're going to see all of us be able to talk about topics and knowledge on the fly. Literally have a conversation and go on the fly. And that's from years of experience and knowledge. And that's not to like swing our dicks in any shape or form. That's purely because we want to do take the 3-year-old, and I'm not calling all our students 3-year-olds, but take the 3-year-olds and give them the information of a 12-year-old because they are fucking 12-year-olds. Treat people like adults. They're not 12-year-olds, but they're adults. Treat them like adults. They don't need the coloring in book. They don't need the little fucking basic infographic to instill and take a summary of information. We are all adults in this industry. Everyone in this industry is above 18, as far as my understanding is. Right? You're an adult. You can vote. You're an adult. Treat yourself as an intellectual in the adult-based capacity. Stop doing fucking infographics. Stop learning information from infographics. Start learning information. Actual information from a textbook, from a conversation with people, from long-form content. Make your own opinions on it. And then go forth. Not regurgitate the fucking Claude Code AI thing it's so stupid.
Love the fact that my rant got you into a rant.
Sorry.
And
Yes.
no, it not sorry that you're expressing my feelings on it as well. And to that, it's again that it's a tool. It's not that it can't be used. That's not what I'm saying. It's as a coach, be intentional with how you use that, because very rarely, if you are the person that your last 10 posts have all been AI generated things, you're the person that should be worried about AI taking your job, because you
It's
are in
literally
fact allowing AI to take
to
your
take your
job.
job. Yeah, you
Whereas
outsourced it. Literally.
exactly, you're outsourcing your services. And if you want to be more intentional with it, again, no problems with utilizing an infograph or a display that's going to be easier to read and understand, but also pair that with educational components. If that's why you're presenting an infograph, to create education, build your next 10 posts around it. You have 10 things on the infograph. There you go. Talk and write about 10 things on that. And then there's your rotation. I just made your rotation for you. If you're putting out information that you're not confident enough in your ability to be able to speak to or be able to write about, maybe that's something also that you should consider exploring a bit more, that you have that depth of knowledge, that you can be able to pivot, be able to challenge, be able to put context in that understanding, and helping educate individuals, helping them learn the information that you're trying to display. And in fact, that kind of leads into the conversation today, is that context, that understanding of what you're trying to get out of movement, or how you're using an exercise, even as an assessment tool, understanding what we're truly assessing off of something. I think this is something that I know Shallow and Killian will no longer even say the word to this, even though it is still in our prescript information. And it is a very useful tool, and can collect a lot of information in the assessment of it. But just the understanding of the hip airplane. We had a discussion today about, the just a coach's understanding of utilizing or implementing a hip airplane, and really what they're trying to understand out of it, instead of trying to utilize it to create positions and develop this skill set. That kind of in the inverse, it's almost more useful as an assessment tool to be able to navigate, do we have options or do we not? But also understanding that the complexity of this assessment tool, I would relate it similar to a overhead squat as an assessment tool, that unless I have an athlete that is going to be replicating that position of an overhead squat, it might not be the best assessment. Outside of, we can do a snatch, we can do an overhead squat in our training because we're going to call upon that. Oftentimes with the hip airplane, it's thrown out as a regressed assessment for single leg movements. And it's in fact not that. It's a lot more complex in the skill set, in the positions that it's going to introduce into the movement. So there's sometimes a lot of confusion of like, oh, somebody can't get this, and I'm going to, use that as an assessment tool for something that is, in fact, a regressed position, and wonder why they still can't do the regressed position, because they're seeing it as an inverse, as the hip airplane, as the regressed exercise instead of a more complex, progressed exercise.
Yeah, it's I genuinely feel like the hip airplane has not been given the respect that it deserves. Like it is the most complex low body single leg sequence that you can come up with. Literally, right? It's taking the head of the femur through its end range of most internally rotated position to most internally rotated position to most externally rotated position on a fixed plane, while hopefully being able to manage your center of mass and not fall over. Like, I genuinely think it's not given the credit of what it's supposed to do, because we've seen so many individuals butcher it. And perform the movement with an externally stabilized support. How many people, if you think about the hip airplane these days, when you do see it, it's most people are doing it while holding on to something else. I haven't, and I'll say this in the truest form, I have not seen a hip airplane being attempted to be done without holding onto a plate in front of them on a barbell or something so that they can get that rotation, or holding onto the side of a rack winning. I haven't seen someone do it freestanding in 4 years, maybe. I don't know. Would you kind of agree with that? When was the last time you saw someone do it not holding on to anything?
Outside of myself, in just the wild is, I mean, it's been at least a year, because that was something that I would introduce to, like the dancers. I'd have them do that, but again, very sport specific. Yeah.
And as a warm-up based utility, that was a part of an assessment tool. You took these people through it and like had group A and group B or whatever the fuck it was, and if they could do the RDL and they could do, I don't know, the RDL and the lunge, for example, most people don't need more than that. Right? And this is my argument comes into the whole kind of concept with this is, if you've got a person who can single leg RDL and if you've got a person who can do a lunge, what more do you need from them? Like what from an assessment based tool, why are you using the hip airplane? Like what more information does the hip airplane provide you that is going to change your current concept of the plan in place for the individual? I would argue it's not going to change anything, so you're wasting their time. Why are you making them look like a fairy instead of doing the lifting thing in the gym? It doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because if an individual athletic or that non-sport specific, where by adding in a hip airplane, what greater access do you think that gives 99% of the population that are not sport specific that a RDL or a lunge doesn't give us access to?
So it doesn't give us access to anything. I'll take both sides of it, but first I want to start with RDL, lunge, that's going to cover the base from a coaching standpoint to be able to assess what's the skill level of the individual that I'm working with and what is the exercise that I'm going to pair that skill with. You don't need more than that. There's finite details to introducing a greater complexity, where if there's even benefit to it, because again, it should be viewed based on what is the skill set of this person, what's available to us as a coach in selecting exercise, and what's not available. Those two cover the vast majority of what we need. And with that, again, understanding what you're trying to get out of the position to introduce it, that if by and large, whenever we see the hip airplane, one, we see people that have an inability to control their center mass over their base of support. Both can be addressed with an RDL, with a lunge. We see them not have an awareness or the proprioception to really go through the control of internal, external, slowing that position in, or slowing the pelvis into those positions and really controlling it. A lot of times it's just, I'm dropping into the position and hoping that my structure holds on it. So with that, most movements aren't going to be dynamic enough that you're doing with the general population that are even going to call upon them needing this very skillful translation from internal and external in that way that it's going to isolate it. So the hip air, there's, again, a lot of components that are going to go into that should go right. What we often see instead is it's thrown into a warm up, and it's more so just like, let's get some movement without the refinement of the coaching being very specific to these points. And so what we're going to see is like, okay, so you're going from external rotation to more external. Like, that's where our hips are. Okay, there's not a congruency between our ribs and our pelvis that we can utilize our core to maintain that position. We're kind of all over the place. We're falling all over. We can't stabilize. Where the pressure is on the front of our foot or all heel. All this being assessed, where it's like, okay, so ultimately, where I think we see it is like, oh, it's too complex. Why are we using a super complex exercise that's not really going to give us much bang for our buck whenever we can simplify it, we can expedite it, and make it a lot more transferable from preparation into the workout, that it's going to be a lot more seamless. On the other side, I'll throw this out there because I do, like, for myself. And again, if you might not like that, and it's okay if you do. But so, like, I do use a hip airplane for myself. I don't use it for clients. What and how I use it for myself is that assessment tool. I'll actually load it, have a dumbbell on the opposite side hip, typically a 10 to 15, using that to control in and out and really paying attention. Can I control this loaded internal external rotation and not just fall in positions? If I can maintain those, it's like, okay, this is good. Good. That it provides information that I can move quicker into what my workout is going to be. Also, what the exercise that I'm using that to assess and transition to is going to be a hang clean with the catch into a front squat. And so dynamic, speed, fast movement. So that's specifically why I'm using it for me.
So that, as we say with everything, assessments are every exercise that we have available to us. Yes, always that. Okay, assessments and every exercise we have available to us should have a progressive manner. There it is. There's your progressive manner when we think about it from a complex standpoint. So while I don't like loaded hip airplanes, while I don't like, and 99% of the population, stupid exercise, even in a bodyweight standpoint. Go to the sports specific, go to an Ollie lifter, go to someone who's doing Olympic weightlifting, could be a very good assessment tool of, are they prepared to do the work they need to do today? Yes or no. Very simple. Because the complexity of Olympic weightlifting is exactly that. It is a greater complexity than the hip airplane. It is internal, external rotation, whether you're in the clean, the snatch, the jerk, whatever's going on, you're going to need that. Right? So it's my perfect way of understanding. So I disagree in the fact of the use of the exercise, agree in the use in this context, as context always matters in terms of that. 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and again,
it
it's not something at all that for trainers or coaches, really, I don't think most need to touch it. Like, understand the time and space where it could be a beneficial tool of greater understanding if needed. It's not a starting point. It's if we're missing something as a coach from that translation of an RDL in a lunging pattern, and then in the translation of something more sport specific, something more complex that we're not seeing, that we're missing, that we can't quite understand, there might need to be more complexity in what we're assessing, but it's be very, very minute detail. It's more so probably a speed and position in a small amount that we would even need to do that. 99%, even with athletes, the lunge and the RDL is going to knock it out. For me, sometimes I'm lazy in the morning and I don't want to warm up and I'm working in a limited window. So I'll use it of like, hey, if I can do this and not fall over, this is a good check that I can start working right into it and be late. It feeds into my laziness. And if I do it and I can't and I'm falling over all over the place, it's like, hey, guess what? We get to do more things. It's truly that an assessment tool. Am I ready to go today in this time, or am I not?
Yeah, and this is the whole point. It's the assessment tool. If you have someone doing an RDL or a lunge, like a Bulgarian or something like that, and they cannot perform that correctly, your answer is not make them do hip aeroplane, because that's not, like, they can't do the basic thing. You can't add more complex, and you think it is less complex because there's no weight. That's the problem, right? It's the inability to understand center of mass. It's inability to understand basis support. We can increase the perception of difficulty of an exercise by deviating both of those. Right? And by doing that, we are going to challenge more of a stability-based structure, which is quite an important component to these things, right? And that can be a form of progression. And in these cases, they very much are. So if you have someone who can't hinge or can't lunge, don't make them do the thing that is the end range of the hinge and the end range of the lunge. That would be like it's really stupid. It doesn't it's a pure example of no thought being put into what ranges the exercise being part of this an assessment, but what ranges the exercise requires, what ranges we have access to, what ranges an exercise gives us an exposure to. That's the difference. It's the inability to pick up on what access we gain by going through these movements.
Yeah, and in that, again, looking to the coach of truly understanding what you're doing, what information it's telling you, and what decisions you're making off of that information. Don't be the infographic coach that doesn't understand any of the information that you're putting out because AI curated it for you and it makes you think it makes you sound smart. To me, what it's truly doing is exposing that you're limited in your knowledge or at least your ability to speak on it. If you want to challenge that, just start writing and saying words about the things that is being generated in it, and it's a win. You're improving the industry, and I applaud you.
Yeah. All right. We'll end it there. And we're gonna fucking do a crash on it. Cut. Marshall, cut. Guys, appreciate you. On that note, we'll chat to you next week. Stop using AI for stupid graphics things, and don't use hip airplanes.